It's time for memory lane again. Coach Perry, that is. You used to do a screening test, what we now call a common entrance exam. And that test was for you to go to the real secondary schools. Lodge, Harrison College, Commonwealth, Foundation, Aline, Colesbury. If I forgot any, they're probably not important. But anyhow, the results came out in the Advocate. On the Sunday Advocate, you'd have the schools and if you passed, and that was a very big event. Of course, the aim was to go to Colesbury. And that Sunday morning when they saw my name, you became an instant hero in the village. Everybody looked up to you. You see that boy there? He going to Perry Courage. He going to Colesbury. Right? You became a hero overnight. Right? So we go on there and then we went to 1-1. This is one of the original books that we use in 1-1. People of other lands. Mike Knowles taught us geography from this book. Our first year there, the very first term, Michael Daddy Longlegs Arthur. He came first in term, first in exam. Anthony Ricochet Fields. He came last in term, last in exam. We used to go to swimming at the swimming sports at North Point, which had the only Olympic-sized swimming pool in Barbados. We also witnessed the death of Osborne up there, who drowned during the sports day. There was that relay race from the airport to North Point. The only school that could compete was Colesbury with the clubs. Mighty clubs like Superstars and Space Athletic Club. And when Jones came around that corner at North Colleton and handed the great Floyd Patrick that baton, 15 minutes behind the guy from Superstars. He had 15 minutes lead on Floyd Patrick, yet he only won by about 2 or 3 seconds and he had to cheat to do that. That's how great he was and that's how great Floyd Patrick was. There was the old boys race at school, where the guys would run. They'll hold back the favorites, they pull back their shirts so they would lose. We were introduced to English literature. Chaucer, the Nun's Priest Tale, I would have fallen asleep had not the slough been so deep. Shakespeare, where we learned, and this is from Mr. Waterman from today, where we learned that a fool occupied a very high position in the king's court, like Touchstone As You Like It, and like Jane Fool, who was Catherine Parr's fool, King Henry's wife. So Mr. Waterman, a fool, is a very sensible person, right? So actually calling them fools was actually praising them, right? But you can still criticize them. I didn't call them idiots, I call them fools. We discovered a funny way, but our great chemists at school discovered a way to turn the cents, the copper cents, make it silver, so they look like 10 cents. And we take them down to the canteen and fool Miss Busby and those sort of people like that, right? Till of course it was discovered because people talked about it, right? And eventually we couldn't do it anymore. You witnessed Andy Williams being trashed in front of the entire hall by Mr. Roachford for pelting one of those shot up berries, those shell things, those trees, through the window and hit a student. And Mr. Roachford gave him some lashes in front of the entire class. We would catch either the Indian ground bus, the basketball bus, or the church bus, go up the hill to school. No one would press the button, so we end up by Miss Mavel. Or we'll keep pressing the button all the time, so the driver gets irritated and he doesn't stop. You end up by Miss Mavel anyhow. Right? So you stay up there till lunchtime. You stay up there eating cheese and bread and corned beef and biscuits and drinking rum. By Miss Mavel, yeah, drinking rum. The British history. We learned how in first form how William the Conqueror defeated King Herod at the Battle of Hastings in 1066 when Herod was shot in his eye. right? We also learned, and this is, I don't know if you can remember this, that William the Conqueror could bend a bow on horseback with his feet that no man could bend with his arm. You heard what I just said? He could bend a bow on horseback with his feet that no man could bend with his arm. Imagine that. And if you actually wrote that, you would get marks for it. In the hall, one morning, Spuz leading prayers, singing hymn 160. By the way, this is an original ancient. This is the same hymn book that we use during that we took. This is from my book stock, the very first year. This one, right? Hymn 160. Holy, holy, holy. Spuz led that one morning, and the big guys in the back, they carry their own tune. We up front are carrying the correct tune, and Spuz is carrying his tune. So everything sounded confusing. They wouldn't dare try that with Jagan. Saw Calvin Hope receiving a bat in front of the entire hall for putting some team to the sword for the past Saturday. Such a great player he was. The Old Boys match, which was a classic. I participated in Old Boys matches, which was an Old Boys match. You played against guys that you only heard their names, right? Now the Old Boys match is a joke. You shouldn't play an Old Boys match unless you've been at school, away from school for at least 10 years. Then you're a real old boy. You have boys leaving school this year and playing an Old Boys match the next year. Rubbish!
Treat each other as you would want to be treated. Did you make the parallel to the Samaritan?
Wally's and Spikes Down. We had these glasses that you could buy, these designer glasses. You know, Mark would come around. Are those prescription glasses? And before you answering, he'd take them and break them in half. Noel Roaches have these rubber bands, all colors. You'd buy, you put them on your hand, red, green. Mark would pass by, and he'd pull them till they pop and sting you. The bicycle stand outside the office, because guys used to ride bicycles to school. Like almost 100 bicycles, they're all in lines. Unbelievable, yeah, but true. Right? One of the buses from Bristol mornings, they just gear down, you know. Moody changing the gears, and the guys are all, and Jagan is living right there, because the headmaster used to live on the premises. Jagan came up one morning, and when they got off the bus, Jagan said, no. Each of you go back home and bring an excuse from your parents for what you just did. So they get him back on the bus. Jagan said, no. The bus's job is to bring you here, not to take you back. You will walk to Spikes Down. And there was not one guy who had the guts enough not to go to his parents and bring that letter. That's how tough Jagan was. And of course, you know Jagan he went to Coach Party. Right? That's all for now. But I'm quite sure that it would have rekindled some of your memories. Right? So that's number 2 in this series. Thank you.